Beautiful Monday, people. I gotta say, I'm struggling a bit with lupus because of the cold weather. Any of you out there who have lupus, you know what cold weather does to you. So because I have SLE, I'm struggling a bit with my lungs at the moment. So apologies if I'm not looking my best. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any home recipes or home remedies, because I haven't had this, because I haven't been in Norway for cold weather since I left here in February, and now I'm back here, and the weather it started snowing. It's pretty beautiful, but it's not the best to for coming from warm weather to this when you have SLE, and you have lupus problems. So please, any home remedies that you may have, please do share them with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You guys are amazing. And thanks for all the super thanks and the donations to the school, to everything. You guys are great. Thank you so very much. It's very much appreciated. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more, less Latino, less angry, and a bit more rational. That little clip you saw, Meghan Markle, cozying up to Harry, how everything is wonderful. And the first thing that Harry basically throws out, obviously, is his dead mother. And the connection between Elton John, his dead mother, and the fact that he's helping him now. When people have polarizing, when people are in extreme situations, you take extreme sides. I'm sorry if I talk about my personal life a bit, but it's because I've lived it. And I've seen it. I have people who I thought were my friends. And when my ex-husband did everything that he did to me, they took his side. He's been proven wrong and guilty in every court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. And let me tell you guys, for me to have been found innocent in a court of law in Norway with 7 judges, and it was one of the fastest judgments ever given. Within 2 weeks, they had given the judgment. And I remember when I left the court in January this year, they told me it takes 8 to 12 weeks to get a judgment. I got it within 2 weeks, counting weekends, that they don't work on weekends. And my lawyer, who is amazing, Morten Bjørnes, if you ever need an amazing human lawyer, and he's not paying me anything, guys, but if you ever need an amazing human lawyer, it's Morten Bjørnes. I will leave the link. He's amazing. He's a criminal attorney, but they do other stuff as well. And I mean, you have no idea when I came to Norway, and it was to fight this case because I had already won all the court cases elsewhere. But for some reason, Norway refused to accept it because of my ex-husband's influence with the government. There was a particular email, and I think it was at the beginning of 2014. So you can see how long this has been going on. And I'll tell you why this is relevant in a minute. In 2014, there was a communication between a lady named Elizabeth, I can't even say her last name, but she works at the Ministry of Justice, and my ex-husband, right, Alfriso, where she's telling him, this is the Norwegian Ministry of Justice communicating to my ex-husband, which actually they shouldn't have because he had a lawyer, but they were in constant communication, where she's telling him in writing that it's kind of it's difficult to make a case against Paula because she's not guilty of what we're trying to accuse her. So they knew that all the allegations, even back then, were false. And yet, they continued and continued and continued. They were not content that they were proven guilty in a court of law in Nicaragua, that their claims were false. They were not happy that the claims were false in other countries. I'm not going to mention because I don't want to get there, because this went international. They were not content with that. I came to Norway. I fought it here because I figured, if maybe they will respect their own Norwegian courts. And as I told you, my lawyer, he started with 400 pages, and then I provided him some documentation that were not in those documents. This is how far a government or a government institution is willing to go to cover up crimes or support their people. Everything was redacted. You couldn't read a page. There are emails between the Norwegian ambassador at the time in Guatemala. He was based in Guatemala, and the U.S. ambassador in Nicaragua, whereby he's telling the U.S. ambassador to take away the U.S. visa of the Nicaraguan judge if he didn't rule in his favor. This is complete corruption, okay? But there were a bunch of documents. I think my lawyer ended up like 4,000 pages, and most of them we couldn't read. And this was a civil case. There was no reason why, and there shouldn't have been any communication between my ex-husband and any of these organizations. So going back to the fact that in 2014, the Ministry of Justice said to my ex-husband, it's hard to build a case against Paula because she's innocent of what we're trying to set her up for or accuse her of. And yet they continue. And they continued. They have every opportunity to withdraw that until I came to Norway. They could have called off the judge trial. They could have said, you know what? All could have gone away quietly. All they had to do was talk to me, apologize. That's all they had to do, you know? No, they doubled down. They called me a criminal. I was in the newspapers. I was this, I was that. I took the high road, and because I didn't want to I thought in my mind, if I keep it low, maybe they'll understand that it'll be easier for them to save face later on. Because what happened in cases like these, when everything is out in the papers, like Harry and Meghan Markle, and the papers take their sides, and people of high profile take their sides, they much rather die with the sinking ship than to say, you know what? We made a mistake. What we've done is terrible. Oprah Winfrey, to this day, she has never spoken ill against Harvey Weinstein. No, she has never said, oh, he's guilty, he's a terrible human being. No. She gave a very evasive answer, So when I see people, and this is why people like my ex-husband, and my ex-husband is just he's a high-ranking official at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Norway. But if he's able to do that, can you imagine what other people are able to do in higher positions? So, for example, Meghan is able to get away with committing perjury. Had I committed perjury? And let me tell you something, the people who testified in favor of Alf, my ex-husband, they committed perjury because the documents showed that they did. Do you think anything happened to them? Of course not. Had I said one lie and they caught me on it, I would have been found guilty. And as I always tell people, you can come and take a look at anything you want. And I want to say something because I'm very offended by a few things, especially some sugars. Because if you go back a few videos ago, you will see that when you guys were people who helped me with my school and everything, and other schools that I help, and at the farm and stuff, I was showing the receipts, I was showing the kids, I was taking them to the places, and even then people were still calling me out because my ex-husband did a very good thing of calling me a child trafficker in the press. If you Google my name, you'll find it. So people now, I did a live with P. Dinah, and I was thanking people for helping with the donations because P. Dinah also has a charity. And we have to struggle. P. Dinah, she didn't get the funding she had requested, and she has an amazing organization. But because she saw what happened to me when I posted things, about charity and stuff like that, it deterred her from using her platform, from actually promoting her charity. Because when I started with the school, sugars started writing to schools around that they thought looked like my school or whatever, asking them if it was going on and harassing them. And then those schools would be calling me saying, what's going on? Why are we being harassed? So not only were those other schools being harassed, they were, and they're poor. They're poor. So some of them even answered, yes, this is Paula, because they thought they could get the funding, which is why I had to do a video about saying, listen, if you're going to donate, it's me, whoever's approaching you, because, and I understand these schools because they're very poor too, you know, and I know firsthand what a struggle is. So after Pidina saw what happened to me, and people are still saying, oh, the money doesn't go to the school. Yes, it does. Unlike Meghan Markle, you know, nobody questions Meghan Markle when with the donations. Don't donate through Archwell. Donate directly to the foundation, because you're giving money to Archwell and your details, your information is being mined by Meghan Markle and Archwell Foundation and sold to advertisers. That's what they do. When you go into Archwell Foundation, even when you put it on private, you know, they told me to put private thing. Even then, Serena Williams' husband works for a computer company that's called the Shark or something, that they can actually trace to the original IP address, so they can mine all your information and all your likes, dislikes. And this is why you suddenly start getting all these emails or this, you know, pop-ups in whatever your Googling thing you do, because they have mined your contacts, okay? So don't go to their Archwell. That's traffic that's taken that, and don't donate to them. If there is a foundation you like, the Teenage Suicide Foundation, that if you donated through them, portion of that went to them for advertising for them. Nothing is free for Harry and Meghan Markle. They never do that. So please don't do that. But in response to those people, when I was showing all the girls and the students, and I was called that I was exploiting the children, blah, blah, blah. Why are you putting them up? So I stopped, even though I had gotten permission from the parents. The parents asked me to do that because, you know, of course we want the funding. So this is why I'm so ever grateful for all of you who donate. And it's on my PayPal video description, and I always leave it in the comment because many of you are asking me to do that. It is quite difficult. So Pidina, when she saw what happened to me, sadly, even though she has a platform where she could, you know, people could donate. And let me tell you, all the money she makes in her YouTube channel, it goes to that charity. And it's such an amazing charity that she has. And yet she can't, you know, ask you guys to assist with that because of what happened to me when I did. So, and this is why it's particularly horrifying that Meghan Markle and Harry are basically exploiting human misery, human needs through their website to make money. And the saddest part is I don't see these sugars asking, oh, I bet you don't give all the money. Of course they use all the money. They have their charities registered in Delaware, which is terrible. But anyways, going back to extreme situations, I'm sorry I took the long way, but I wanted to say this too before I forget, because I'm forgetful. Going back to the extreme situations, people taking sides when situations are extreme. Even after my ex-husband was found, you know, I was found innocent, and it was found that he lied, because our stories were so opposite that there's no middle ground. Either the judges believed me or they believed him. You know, and with overwhelming evidence, they believed me. Even then, the people who used to be my friends are still taking his side. They haven't called me to apologize and say, Paula, we were wrong. They're still doubling down. They're still his friends, and they're still calling him a victim. This is why I say it's very important to call people out. My silence, my reluctance, and I have never insulted my ex-husband really in public or anything like that. He's called me all kinds of names in public and called me everything, and it's ruined my reputation. But I never did. And people can say, well, at least you can take that you took the high road. But at what cost? So we have Elton John. This is why Harry mentions that. Elton John, we love you. He gave them his private plane to these eco-warriors. He gave them his private plane to fly around in Europe, to go to their house. They refused to go. Harry and Meghan Markle refused to spend even 1 week at Balmoral with the Queen when Archie was born, because they said that the child was too young to go to Balmoral, to fly anywhere, to move out of Frogmore Cottage, while taking Elton John's private plane to fly to Ibiza. Okay? They were invited to spend the Christmas with the Queen, and they refused. They were somewhere else flying the world. And by the way, From what I understand, there are 21 trips that they took. We know of 14, 15 trips. There are 6 or 7 more that are not reported in the public because they were private and they were taken with private planes. Some with George Clooney, with Elton John's airplane, and this rich Russian guy that was flying them around, and with Tyler Perry and even Oprah. So Meghan Markle managed to fly all over the world without a passport, which is illegal, and no country would allow it to do that. So what happens now when people are saying, why are Tyler Perry and Oprah and Serena Williams and all these people still taking Meghan Markle's side? And why is she being now rewarded for lying and slandering on national television? An institution. Because now this, I think her name is, Carrie Kennedy, I want to say that, the name of the lady. She's come out in a public statement, in a public forum, in an interview or whatever, that the reason why Harry and Meghan Markle are being rewarded is because they stood up to the structural racism in the monarchy. Now, let's go back and see who was the head of the monarchy at that time. It was Her Majesty the Queen, who was not only, by being the head of state, the head of the monarchy, the institution that Meghan Markle and Harry were fighting, basically it was their grandmother. There is no two ways about it here. If I own a company and they went to the major, they didn't get the support they wanted, I guess like the 17 or 14 members that they got, almost as big as even more as Catherine and Prince William's staff, was not enough. The clothing allowance was not enough. The freedom they got was not enough. The offer they got to take 2 years off to learn the ropes and do like what Prince William and the Princess of Wales did, and Princess Catherine did, which is, take 2 years or a year and a half to get to know the role, to soak it all in, and then if you want, you can come back and do that. They were given those options before the Queen gave them the Sussex title, before the Queen gave Harry the Duke of Sussex title, because they were trying to avoid the situation, because they already knew that Meghan Markle was a grifter, and they already had her number. Okay, so they were given the option to be private citizens, to not have royal titles, to soak it in after they were married for about a year and a half, and then if they still wanted to be part of the royal family, then they would get a title, and then slowly they would be, start working just like the Duchess of the Princess of Wales, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, had done. They said no. Meghan Markle wanted to hit the ground running, and this ground, let me tell you, prior to her hitting it running, she got 6 to 7 months of training there's a word in English, I don't know if it's induction, that you're getting information, you have staff telling you this is how it is, this is the protocol, this is how we do things, you can or you cannot do. The same with every job, at every level, even government level, even in high level, any organization, there are very strict rules. Again, I've said this example many times. If you work for Apple, you cannot advertise for Microsoft. You cannot be seen walking around with Microsoft equipment if you work for Apple. If you work for Pepsi, you cannot be seen drinking outside in public a Coke. I'm talking about high-ranking people, clearly, because that's where Harry and Meghan Markle were at. The Queen made Meghan Markle the patron of the arts, of the theater, which was something very dear to the Queen due to her background. They made him the president and vice president of the Commonwealth Trust organization. I can't remember what it's called, but something that was very special to the Queen and dealt with over 54 countries, different ethnicities, and all kinds of things. They could have done wonders there. They spoiled them too much. And yet now we have this lady, and yet Meghan Markle. And you know what the saddest part of it all is? I have tried to find, and this is where I'm going to call on you, on your help, because as you guys know, I'm not very techie. There's a part at the end of the interview between Oprah Winfrey and Meghan Markle and Harry, where Oprah asked them, would you go back if they asked? And they said yes. If any of you can find me that clip, I will greatly appreciate it, and you can send it to my email address that I always leave in the video description, but I also leave as a comment under my video. Because after all the bitching that they did, all the racial slander, false racial accusations that they did, at the very end, what Oprah asked them, would you go back if they asked you? And they said yes. After all their bitching, after Harry saying that his father is strapped and he couldn't leave and blah, blah, blah. And you know, how he was happy in California, how he has found freedom and all kinds of shit. At the very end, when Oprah said, would you go back? They say yes. So why would you go back to that if it was that terrible? And now we have the RFK honoring them because they fought, they went to the royal family, to the monarchy, not the royal family. She didn't say the royal family, she said the monarchy. And who was the head of state of the monarchy while Harry and Meghan Markle were there? The Queen. And Parliament, believe it or not, because it's a constitutional monarchy, Parliament oversees the good, just as the Queen sees the good governance, the monarch is to ensure the good governance of Parliament, you know, of her government. It is the same with Parliament. Parliament is the rod that is supposed to keep the monarchy respectable, with integrity and honest. This is why it's a constitutional monarchy, because they have a say in what happens, except in the royal titles. Okay? The royal titles, the monarch can give, take, give away. If it's true that King Charles is not going to give Prince Edward the Duke of Edinburgh title, in spite of the fact that the Queen left it in writing, it goes to show you that is that. And also Parliament has said so. So many of you are asking, why are Harry and Meghan? So now this woman, going back to this RFK, it's saying that Harry and Meghan are getting a human rights award for fighting that racism within the monarchy at the highest level, which was represented by the Queen in the UK. So the institution that symbolizes the United Kingdom and the entire Commonwealth is racist at every level. That's what this woman said. To this day, we haven't heard a statement, an official statement, because this is basically a foundation. This is going to be a worldwide thing, stating in the United States, a kind of semi-unknown, but now it's known because of the statement this lady's making. And this statement can only be made by this lady from words that Harry and Meghan said to them. Because that's the narrative. You don't give us what we want, we're going to do this. You know what? You don't negotiate with terrorists. And this is what I've been saying about Harry and Meghan Markle. I'm sorry this is a little bit longer video. But it's just that the thing merits it, I think. And please do leave me your comments. This lady gets this not only from the Oprah interview, but because they must have been in conversations with Harry and Meghan. And these conversations were held very late on, because they were not invited in March. They did not get an invitation in March. They got it later when it was becoming a reality and they were not getting enough people to the RF Kennedy gala, because everybody is going to the JF Kennedy gala or Earthshot thing. So when they saw that they were not getting enough people, or they were not getting, attention, they decided to invite Harry and Meghan Markle. And of course, Harry and Meghan Markle, for those of you who think that Harry is a victim, Harry is being exploited. Harry's not being exploited. Harry is enjoying. The only thing that you see, why you see Harry so angry, is because he's pissed beyond belief that his plans are not going according to what he thought they would, that his plans are failing. That's what you see in Harry. It's not sadness. It's not, oh, I regret not that I'm not part of the royal family. No, none of that. And these are all my thoughts and opinions. What we're seeing in that man is anger, that his plans to ruin his own family and the brother he envies and hates have failed. Okay? So he's going to go down dirty. Remember, at one of my videos at the very early, I said that it's like, a porn star. When she first start, and you're young and pretty, they don't give you the rough stuff. But as you go and go there, then you start getting the worst stuff. And then you end up in the really terrible stuff because you have to do the worst just to stay there. This is what's happening with Harry and Meghan. At the beginning, they didn't have to do very much. Everybody was doing everything for them. But now they have to get down and dirty. And they're going to use their children. And they're going to use their racial slander, which is still the only thing that they have left to cover. And it's the only thing that the royal family has really not addressed. The monarchy, the institution of the monarchy, nor parliament have addressed. So if any of you in parliament are wondering, you should really issue a statement. You should really start an investigation of these claims, because if it were in any other organization, an investigation would have been started a long time ago. And we would have, in public, have Meghan Markle and Harry proven their statements false, and the matter would have been put to bed and to rest. But because this narrative has been allowed to stand unchallenged, Meghan Markle and Harry without suffering any consequences. This is why we have this right now, the R.F. Kennedy Award for slandering and saying false racial accusations. This would be just like Jussie Smollett getting an award for the false. This guy was found guilty in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt that he made it all up. Yet, he's not in jail. He directed a movie, and E! Entertainment was, oh my God, you did something great, how wonderful. They didn't ask him, wait a minute, dude, you made up this, you created racial hatred in a very, and please understand this, because especially the people in the United States, that you know this more than anybody, that it was during a time, it's still very sensitive, but it was during a time that was incendiary and created violence. Meghan Markle made those comments at a time when she was pregnant, when she said that she did that interview with Oprah being pregnant. And then she talked that those racial slurs and that racism happened while she was also pregnant with her first child, which of course never happened. Oprah falsified and doctored headlines for the racist headlines for the interview, and Oprah got away scot-free. To this day, nothing of that has been addressed. And you wonder why Oprah, Serena, they're going to go down with the ship. Because so far, the ship has kind of floundered, but it hasn't sank. And because these people and their ego, because of the extreme things that they have done and the extreme actions they have committed are so far beyond the norm, that for them to say we were wrong, that would mean that they were accomplice to that, because they're not that stupid. I assume Oprah is not that much of a moron and an imbecile. I think she's a bully and an abusive person with a big chip on her shoulders against white people. I think Oprah Winfrey is racist. These are all my thoughts and opinions. And racist, and people say, oh, you can't be racist if you're black. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay? And I think once I gave an example. I used to attend BI University in Oslo. And there were people from different countries. And there was this amazing, I've told this story before, this amazing, gorgeous black guy. He was so hot, so beautiful. He was studying with us at BI. Very accomplished guy, very beautiful. His skin color was like that yummy dark chocolate, like it's like a chocolate you want to bite. He was so good looking. And then there was this girl. Where was he from? I'm trying to remember where he was from. He was he was from Africa, and then and she was also black, but she was a lighter skin color black than him. I don't want to say names because I still have friends at BI, from that time, so I don't want to say names. And she asked me to set her up on a date with somebody because I had a lot of friends, and I said, sure, I'll set you up. And he came to my mind, And I set them up, and I thought, this is going to be wonderful because this guy's such a gentleman. He's lovely. He's gorgeous. He's incredibly smart. He's and everything. When they came back, like, she didn't talk to me. That was they had the date on a Friday, if I remember correctly. And I saw her on Monday. She was kind of angry with me. She didn't say hi. And then on Tuesday, she didn't say hi to me. So I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I finally said, you know what, whoever, hello. I said, are you avoiding me? Is something wrong? She said to me, how dare you? I said, what do you mean? Was he rude? The first thing I thought, oh no, this guy's such an asshole. Probably he did something to her, Maybe I misread him. She was angry that I set her up with a darker looking guy than she was, because she saw that beneath her. So there is racism in Black people, and also towards other races. You know that Asians suffer a lot of racism from Black people. The majority percentage of abuse that Asian people suffer are from the Black community. That's the statistics that's there. But anyway, so going back to Harry and Meghan Markle. Elton John, Oprah Winfrey, Serena Williams, and whoever, they're going to go down with that ship because they've taken sides, and they chose the wrong side, but they're never going to admit it because they're too egotistical and too arrogant to do that. The only way that they're going to be quiet and we're going to stop seeing things like the RF Kennedy, because Harry and Meghan are not going to stop. They are going to get worse until they're stopped. I've always said an abusive person and a liar only increases the lies, because they see, it's like testing. Oh, I said this, nothing happened. Then Meghan escalated from saying there were conversations, and then Harry said there was a conversation before I married her. But, that has not been challenged. So because that wasn't challenged, then she went further and said that people call her child the N-word, and this is why she didn't share any pictures of the kid, of the red hair kid, of the ginger white child, So now they're getting an award for fighting the structural racism in the monarchy. They're escalating that narrative, and it's serious. And this is why, to me, I can understand the royal family not saying this, but now it's the institution of the monarchy, which is an institution that represents me. Any of the ethnic countries that are part of the Commonwealth would look at that and say, wait a minute, why aren't you guys saying something about this? I cannot be part of an organization where structural racism is rampant. And actually, two of their senior figures that were part of it, and were actually the vice president and president and vice president of the Commonwealth Trust, are saying that there is racism. And they're doing nothing. You know what? When you are silenced, you're complicit. With silence is compliance. Silence is saying, yes, they're right. We're not. And it has nothing to do with this. But at least a statement or an investigation must be started, like an official investigation by Parliament, to audit the monarchy as to what happened with Harry and Meghan Markle and where the racism was. So it's transparent. So everybody, and this has to be done in a worldwide stage, because it's escalating. This award, and this lady said these comments with the very purpose of detracting and creating hatred and increasing the risk to the lives of Prince William and Princess Catherine in their visit to Boston. Because by her saying this, it's basically saying you have these two races coming to the U.S. And we know that there's crazy people. She just immediately increased the risk for Catherine and Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, by 400%. Because Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, they are at the top echelon of the monarchy. So therefore, they're part of that racist structure as well. This lady and Harry and Meghan are endangering the lives of Prince William and Princess Catherine, so they can get headlines and they can get back at them because they said, no, we don't want to use you, Meghan. And also, if you can find the clip where Meghan says, I went to the royal family and they told me to use, I told them to use me any way they wanted. But they said, no, thank you, because of the things that she was doing, the bullying that she was committing. So if there's a petition to be started, because it has to be a parliamentary petition, it has to be done by this is why I recommend any citizen in the UK, you can write to my email and you can start a parliamentary petition asking them to investigate the claims of 2 former senior royals who are receiving an award for fighting the structural racism in the monarchy, which is the top institution of the United Kingdom. Okay, that you can do. It has nothing to do with royal titles or with honors, but you can request, and it has to be a parliamentary. It cannot be I know there's a GoFundMe. I don't know if it's GoFundMe or there's another one that Lady C has. That doesn't work. It says very clearly in the UK Parliament website that it has to be a parliamentary petition. That means that it's a person residing, any person residing in the United Kingdom can start a petition for Parliament to please investigate the statements made by 2 former senior royals of the monarchy, of the structural racism within the monarchy, because that is a crime in the United Kingdom. And you want that part clarified, because you cannot have the United Kingdom nor the Commonwealth can have a racist institution representing them worldwide. And if that reaches 10,000 signatures, it has to be a parliamentary petition and it has to be done by a UK citizen. Why? Because they will ask you for your email address, your address in the UK, and I think your number, personal details to verify that you're either a citizen of the United Kingdom or you're residing there, or you're a permanent resident. So you can do that. And that petition, please send it to me. It's a very simple one. Don't go on to Meghan Markle have like, no. They are statements made by 2 former senior royals, which are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, stating that there is structural racism within the monarchy as an institution. That there are claims that there are statements made that there is racism made against one of the senior members, to the point that, you know, that is illegal in the UK, and that you want that investigated, and that if the investigation has to be made public, and that if it turns out that those statements are false, that you request that the full weight of the law falls on the people making those statements. Because also in the United Kingdom, it is a criminal offense to falsely claim racism in order for financial gain, personal gain, or any gain for that matter, because it causes stress and harm to the person or institution that you're falsely accusing. So if you want to do that, I will promote the hell out of it in my channel, and I make sure that all the YouTubers promote it as well, because that you can do. It's not talking about honors, and you don't have to start any hatred thing. It's just a very small thing saying that, and that you want the results made public. And if it reaches 10,000 signatures, then it will have to be discussed in Parliament. If it reaches 100,000 signatures, they will have to investigate. So that we can do. That is a proactive thing that can be done. Asking for Parliament to urge a formal public official investigation of the statements and claims made by former royals, and you say the names, and to investigate the structural racism within the monarchy, because it's affecting their reputation. The monarchy can only be effective if its reputation is intact, if it's considered a fair, open thing, a non-discriminatory organization. Because how can the monarchy represent the Commonwealth with so many cultures and skin colors and races? How can they? So it has to be investigated, and ask for the results to be made public as well. And that if those statements are false, that the full weight of the law be applied to those making those statements. I mean, I know it was a long video. I apologize for that. But please, it is quite serious now. And this is why I've been saying, this is why it was important to make an official statement. Maybe not make a statement, but start an investigation of those claims. Because if, for example, if the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the United Kingdom had been accused of racism by one of its senior members, there would have been an investigation. Sexual harassment or anything like that, there is an investigation, and it's made public. their findings are made public. So the monarchy now, because they're not talking about a family member, the monarchy now is structurally racist. So an investigation has to ensue. Please give me your thoughts.
And thank you for entertaining everybody for so many decades. Thank you for being the friend that you were for my mum. Thank you for being our friends. Thank you for being friends to our kids. And thank you for entertaining people right around the world. Even though this is officially your retirement, this will not be your last gig, we know that. But we love you and congratulations on an incredible career.
Thank you very much for watching. This is going to be a long video, which I don't do. There has to be a petition launched by one of you in the United Kingdom asking Parliament to publicly investigate the statements made by 2 former senior royals stating that the monarchy is there's structural racism in the monarchy, which is an institution. You can do that because now racism within an institution, organization, or whatever is illegal in the United Kingdom. And these statements have been allowed to go on without being investigated. If any other government employee or anybody else has said that, even private organizations have said that. Somebody comes out in the United Kingdom and says, hey, I was discriminated because of my skin color. That's racist. That's a criminal investigation. But just as well, please watch the video and tell me what you think. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But I think it's time to investigate Meghan Markle and see what comes of it. What do you guys think?